Senior Living Today, brought to you by these fine sponsors: Wires Inc., First Class Realty, Triangle East, and Ward Specialty Pharmacy.
Good afternoon, good evening, wherever we are here in TV land. This is Cheryl Braswell, Senior Living Today. Glad you're here with us this afternoon. And we're going to talk about not a new business, but a business that's been here a while, but they've moved to a new location. And if you're not familiar with them, we're really going to get into it today. This is Mr. Patrick Ignacio.
Hi, sir.
And Ward Specialty Pharmacy. And they are located at 108, is that right? 108
Yes,
North Winstead Avenue here in Rocky Mount, the corner of Winstead and Hunter Hill. Winstead and Sunset. What I want to do today is just talk to you a little bit about, what you do, and make sure people understand the services that you've got there, because like I said, I'll say this about every week when I'm talking about different things. You have done things for me. You've done things for my wife. You've done things for my dog. You take care of everybody. And to me, you have a very interesting story, Patrick. It would take us a long time to go through everything, but just, why was Rocky Mount where you kind of landed when you started looking?
Well, first and foremost, I would like to greet everyone. Hi, and Mr. Cheryl, thank you for inviting me to your show. That's actually an interesting, questions. I mean, I've been getting a lot of questions, from different persons. Why Rocky Mount? And of course, same thing. It's of all the 50 states, right? Why North Carolina? And of course, why in Rocky Mount? So it was actually way back in 2009 when my sister, I haven't seen my sister for a long time. And she invited me, to come over here, here in Rocky Mount. So I really don't have any idea, what's Rocky Mount, because my initial thoughts about when you go to America, I came from the Philippines, and it's a very small island. So all the while, everything is actually, tall buildings. That's my first impression, and I was really shocked when I first arrived in the airport, and what I saw was really like, my initial description was barren land, so it's all flat. So, during my stay here, I volunteered with the pastor, and I stayed here for, visited here, and I was really shocked. I've been seeing like trees, and it's no one's actually going up. So. To cut the long story short, when I was about to go home, the people who I met asked me, what will make you stay? So I told them I'm actually a pharmacist from the Philippines, and I happened, that I passed my first exam, because, being a pharmacist here, you have, if you're a foreign graduate, you have to take at least, 6 exams total. So I got my first, and I told them I need to have my internship. So what happened is that all the people that that heard my story, they started writing all pharmacy here in Nash, Edgecombe, Nashville. And it was Mr. Gary Gleason, the owner of Ward Specialty Pharmacy, responded to the call of Mr. Rudy Love. Rudy Love, he's a tailor guy.
Yes.
He was the one who wrote actually, most of the pharmacy here.
Okay.
And it was actually Gary. And when Gary actually, called me, and he said, if I wanted actually, to come by, to his pharmacy. When I went there, unfortunately, something happened. I think it was his mom or dad who actually passed away. So, my first instinct was actually to buy a card from their store, and then I wrote the letter that a short note stating that sir, I was here. Unfortunately, I heard about what happened.
Right.
So I just wanted to let you know that I am, I feel bad of the situation, and I'm extending my prayers and condolences. that thing actually is the start of my story.
Okay.
So Gary, was so, until now, he's telling me that, with that simple card, that actually, opened up, our
Your relationship working. Yep.
partnership, here. And of all the states, of course, I stayed there. I volunteered initially with Gary until, he said, I wanted you to work with me. And then what happened, he closed, he
Right.
closed the pharmacy. He sold the pharmacy to CVS. But during the time that I was, a volunteer and at the same time working for him, I fell in love with the compounding pharmacy.
Right.
I
That's
know
right.
I know about compounding
Right.
because that's the main thing that we typically do, and that's the basic foundation of pharmacy and pharmaceutical things.
Right.
But I felt I fell in love with it because Gary, most practitioners thought he's actually like a how should I say that, doing differently, but he's not. He's very unique in the sense, but he helped a lot of people. So I fell in love with that, and I feel so sad when he said he's going to close the
Right.
pharmacy, because it's either I would be going back home, and the most important thing that struck me is the people, the ladies and those pets who are actually getting their medications
Right.
will need to travel all the way to Raleigh in order to get that medication.
Same type of service.
So
Yeah.
I stepped up and told Gary, if you're closing the pharmacy, leave the compounding pharmacy open, and I will take charge on that one.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I keep on telling the rest of the folks that my profession became my mission.
Right.
Because
Right.
with that it opened myself really to embrace that profession, because I saw the need
Right.
in our community, and I would say till this time we are so fortunate that we are the only compounding pharmacy in the 40-mile radius, so they don't
Wow.
need to travel all the way
Right.
to Raleigh or even to the coast maybe, just to find a compounding pharmacy. So that's actually a
Short version.
short version of my story, because again, Cheryl, I came to the U.S. really without anything. I remember me and my wife, we're sharing with one burger. During that time, I don't have a car, I don't have a house, and that became my inspiration. And I'm very much willing also to share that to everyone, especially for those who are starting the business, that it can be done and it's possible. And you just don't need to say it's impossible. The word impossible should be erased in our
From your-
vocabulary.
Absolutely.
And work ethics is very
Yes.
important nowadays. We've been seeing that that it's losing. We need to actually work harder, and we should love what we're doing, especially
Yes.
if we're talking about
Yes.
helping other people.
Yes, and it's because I think you and I, we talked one day, and I said, well, I don't know all the verses in the Bible, but I've not found one yet that told me it was time to retire.
Yes, sir. Yes,
There's-
sir.
There's not very much in the Bible about retiring. They're
That's
always
true.
telling you to get out there and work hard and take care of your folks and everyone else that you can help. So,
Yes, sir.
and I, for one, am absolutely thrilled to death that you are here in Rocky Mount and the services that you have to offer.
Thank you, sir.
You tell the folks, Patrick, what compounding pharmacy means.
Again, I just mentioned that this is very fundamental for all the pharmacy, because everything started with compounding. In fact, not to where less our knowledge that even Coke and Pepsi, the most common drink that we have, is actually first made by a compounding pharmacist.
Right. That's right.
And why, when we talk about compounding, is that we mix medication, from scratch, from the active ingredients itself, becoming, a specific delivery system. There are different delivery system out there. We have, the capsule, tablets, suppository, we have the liquid, we have the ointment, we have also those injectables. So the question now is, why do we compound? So the reason we compound is that if a person has allergy to a specific component of the drug, then that needs to be compounded. Now, if let's
So
say
you can literally target the particular,
yes, sir, component.
I'll use disease, but I mean you can literally target the particular situation that needs to be addressed.
Yes, that's why we're also called the problem solver.
There you go.
So because again, I mean, as I mentioned, if the drug is not, if you have allergy with the medication, with a specific, component of the medication, and second is that if the medication is not available commercially, or they actually, remove that, from our drug list already, but it's actually useful, or it's just unique for the patient. Right. And if the delivery system is actually not working, for instance, if you're a person that cannot swallow a pill, we can actually convert that into a liquid form or in a topical form. Same thing with the fur babies, the cats and the dogs, right?
That's right.
I mean, why would you shove actually a capsule or a tablet to a pet's throat if you can convert that to a liquid or even in a topical cream form?
Right.
So that's why, again, as I mentioned, we are a problem solver. Yeah. In fact, I mean, during the advent of the pandemic, we played a crucial role.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. I had the privilege to get COVID while all this was going on, and went and met with a doctor, and they had a prescription for me, and I called around to several pharmacies here in town, and I kid you not, the cheapest price I found was $400 for that prescription. And I thought, it just hit me, I need to call Patrick and see if he can do this. And sure enough, you were able to compound what I needed, and it was $40.
I think that's 3 times lesser than the commercially available price.
It was
Plus
$40. Yeah.
That's why I said, I mean, when during that period, first is sure, I mean, during the time that we're running out of, or we don't have the availability of hand sanitizer. We are the only ones who made the hand sanitizer. Second is that when a lot of people are dying, I mean, we're actually saving a lot of people.
Yeah.
And during that time also, I mean, if a person, instead of taking 20 pills, in one taking, on one dose, we can make it, into a one capsule only,
Wow.
during that particular time. I mean, so that actually reduces actually, the inconvenience for a patient, because you have 20 pills to swallow,
Right.
I mean, instead you take only one pill, for instance. So those are actually the beauty of compounding. And even right now, with a lot of patients, elderly, who are
Yes.
suffering from pain, that's another area that we could talk about. People are actually taking oral medications, but the side effects of that one, the bleeding, issues. It is a systemic, side effects. I mean, we can actually make it into a topical cream that would actually help pain issues.
Okay. We're going to take a quick break, y'all. So run out to the kitchen, grab a drink, some peanuts, come on back, and we're going to talk a little bit more about Patrick and Ward Specialty Pharmacy.
Brought to you by these fine sponsors: Wires Inc., First Class Realty, Triangle East, and Ward Specialty Pharmacy.
Statewide Insurers Group gave us choices in our Medicare coverage. Check out their options to answer your insurance needs. The choice is yours.
At Statewide Insurance Group, we work with every client as an individual case. We try to find what's going to work for you and your needs.
We really do all the research. I like to say we do the nitty-gritty so you don't have to, so we can accommodate everything you need from start to finish.
At Statewide, we want to find the fit that works for you. You need to give us a call. We can do a life review, health insurance, and all of the above. And we're located at 880 Country Club Road, right here in Rocky Mount. And telephone number is 252-316-8166. We look forward to hearing from you.
Welcome back, folks. This is Senior Living Today. I'm Cheryl Braswell. My guest is Patrick Ignacio, and what we're talking about today is Ward Specialty Pharmacy. I want to make sure y'all understand where it is. They have moved. They have a new location, a really nice facility now. They were in a kind of a small space on Sunset. Now we're over on Winstead and have a very nice building. It's 108 North Winstead Avenue. It's kind of right behind the PNC Bank that faces onto Sunset.
You went in there, sir, already, right?
I have been in there.
How's your
I have been all there.
experience?
Very good, man. Very good. They have coffee and donuts every day.
No donuts.
No donuts, coffee every day. Yeah, great place to go to. So we were talking. We were just getting into talking about working with the senior population. Just get back into that, Patrick. What type of services and things do you see you're able to help with?
Yeah, if you're actually, in that stage already, I mean, most common is actually the pain thing. So we actually have, a wide array of, compounds that can help you. We also carry, by the way, supplements. We carry pharmaceutical grade supplements. For those of you who are not aware, not all supplements are the same.
Please talk about that. You explained that to me one day. This is interesting.
Yes,
Yeah.
Because again, most people thought that if you buy a supplements, that's it. No, I mean there is a difference between pharmaceutical and food grade supplements, and you won't be able to notice that unless you would really read the label. So that's very important. And again, I mean, it's sad to say, I mean, a lot of people are going to, big boxes, pharmacy, and they would actually grab, different supplements there. But be careful. You look at the back, and where is it made? I mean, typically,
Right. And you've actually been to some of these, I'll call it a factory. I mean, places where they make the different supplements.
Yes, of course. I mean, most of the product that we carry is actually, manufactured here in the U.S. And we know, the quality and the standards that we are actually now upholding in terms of, the component and ingredients. Because there could be, a lot there, they're claiming in front, but, the numbers really, it's not really, sufficient enough. So that's another thing that I just wanted to highlight with you guys. I mean, for those who are having, difficult and different, types of wound, we can actually, help you with that. If you're having, rashes, we can help you with that. If you're having like, problems with hair loss, that's another thing. If you're actually, more on hormonal, if you're having hormonal issues, or if you're having some vaginal dryness, for men who are having, low testosterone, we can actually compound. Why am I stating this, Cheryl? The reason is if let's say for those who are on Medicare, for instance, and then they actually, ended up in that, donut hole.
Right.
We talked about
Yes,
that last
sir.
time.
That's right.
And
That's right.
if your insurance is not covering it, I mean, let's say the vaginal cream for women who are having vaginal dryness, that would cost them like $300 for one tube. I mean, you can get that from us only for $65.
Wow. Yeah.
Same thing with men who are needing testosterone. I mean, that's very expensive.
Now, how that when I've been reading, how do you make testosterone? How is that done?
So the testosterone is, I mean, we have an active ingredient. It came from a natural, component, and we actually mix that one and make it in a topical cream. So now it's most gels typically, I mean, you need to put a lot in your body. Now ours is actually, it's a small amount, but you're actually, absorbing it. And people would always say, I mean, how about the absorption? Well, again, I mean, I can assure you, that the gel that we're using or the cream that we're using, I mean, it's not the same as the cream that, used 20 years ago. So they have studied, in terms of absorption, it's actually, better this time. So we also help for those who are having, pain for anal fissure or hemorrhoids, we do that stuff. I mean, especially, if the combinations or the regular medications out there is not working, we can actually make a different combinations for specifically for you guys. So again, the good thing about compounding, it's very unique. It's not a one size fits all,
Right.
like most medications are. It's very, very specific to your needs.
Situation. So one thing to me that seems has been more common, or I guess maybe I just know more people who have it, but psoriasis. What types of things can you do with that? Or
Well, again, I mean, when we talk about psoriasis, it's there's a lot of components that you have to consider.
Right.
One is internally, because it's a sort of an autoimmune,
Right.
They said if you're younger, it's not called psoriasis, right? So it's called eczema. But if you actually
Right.
grow older, it becomes a psoriasis. So you have to consider food also.
Okay.
Your nutrition. I mean, are you taking fish oil? Enough fish oil, because again, fish oil helps to hydrate your body, right?
Right.
So, but if you're actually, like in our case, I mean, people around here love sugar, which that causes more inflammation. But another thing is that we are full with omega 6 and omega 9, but not an omega 3. So why? Because it's so expensive to buy fish, and we don't actually serve or cater. We don't eat fish all the time.
Right.
So the omega 3 component is very low, right? So that's another thing that actually affects our skin. And of course, another thing is the
Okay.
probiotic. The gut system is very
Right.
important.
Right.
And again, I mean, most people who are taking 5-10 medications for a long period of time, it messes your gut, right?
Right.
And another thing is the vitamin D component. I mean, a lot of people are not taking or neglecting to take vitamin D. They thought vitamin D is not important, but it's very important specifically for your skin. Now, are there actually compounds that we can also make? Yes, I mean, there are a lot of compounds that we can mix for you specifically for that for that kind of issue. So I'm just sharing to you that this is a balance of something that you can do nutritionally and at the same time pharmacologically.
Do you have contacts with providers that can work with people, getting them the nutritional information they need, and to telling the patient, here's the vitamins that you need to be looking at, or the type of supplements you should be looking at?
Well,
How's that go now?
That's the sad part, right? Because let's face it, most doctors probably took only like 2 hours of their nutritional things when they were
Right.
in the medical school. So the answer there is none.
None. Yeah,
Right.
that's what I was afraid
So
of.
we're here to help you guys. I mean, we're the only pharmacy. Again, I mean, you're very lucky to have a facility like Ward Specialty Pharmacy, and please utilize the experts that you have in there, because again, I mean, not all pharmacy can do what we can do.
Right.
We don't count pills as most regular
Right.
pharmacy does, and they don't have enough time. So we have sufficient time to really sit down with you.
Yeah.
And if you need a compound, I mean, if your doctors are not familiar with it, come see us and share us your issues, and we make a recommendation to your doctor. We send it direct to your doctor so that I mean, they would know what to write.
Right. Very good, very good. So, I hope you folks got some good information today. Again, Patrick's located at 108 Winstead Avenue, North Winstead Avenue here in Rocky Mount. Brand new building as you're coming into town. It's sitting on the right side of the highway there, right behind PNC Bank. I will always preach about the things that Patrick has done for me, done for my spouse, done for our dog. they perform a extremely valuable service, because one thing that's missing, to me in my many years on this earth, it's tough to get good information about, just nutrition, understanding nutrition and how that affects what you do. And, I was raised, my grandma cooked everything in lard, and we ate biscuits and ham every morning. It took a while to learn that some of those things may not be the best thing in the world for me to eat, and just to learn nutrition. And thankfully, my wife is a nutrition nut, so it all works out. But Patrick, thank you for being here, man.
Thank you, sir. Again.
We'll have you again some other time, because there's a lot more we can talk about. Folks, thank you for being with us today. Another episode of Senior Living Today is in the books, and we'll see you next time. Have a great week.
Brought to you by these fine sponsors: Wires Inc., First Class Realty, Triangle East, and Ward Specialty Pharmacy.
Statewide Insurers Group gave us choices in our Medicare coverage. Check out their options to answer your insurance needs. The choice is yours.
At Statewide Insurance Group, we work with every client as an individual case. We try to find what's going to work for you and your needs.
We really do all the research. I like to say we do the nitty-gritty so you don't have to, so we can accommodate everything you need from start to finish.
At Statewide, we want to find the fit that works for you. You need to give us a call. We can do a life review, health insurance, and all of the above. And we're located at 880 Country Club Road, right here in Rocky Mount. And telephone number is 252-316-8166. We look forward to hearing from you.